There is a place not far from here where the clouds rain acid and the ground is hot enough to melt lead. There is a moon where the rivers run, the lakes fill, and the rain falls. But nothing there is made of water. There is a planet discovered only a few years ago that reflects almost no light at all. Astronomers call it the darkest world ever found. And past all of it, past every star you can see tonight, there's a region of space so vast and so empty that it shouldn't exist at all. Scientists still don't agree on why it's there. Over the next hour, we're going to take you there. One place at a time, starting close to home, and ending at the very edge of what physics allows to exist. Some of what you are about to hear, most people have never been told, not because it's hidden, because almost no one has taken the time to explain it slowly enough to actually understand it. We're going to take that time now. This channel exists for one reason: to take you to places you will never go yourself, and to slow down long enough to actually understand what you're looking at. Not a highlight reel, not a list of facts fired off in 10 seconds each. A journey, one place at a time, with the time it actually deserves. If that's the kind of journey you're here for, settle in. This is going to take a while, that's the point. Let's start close to home, on a planet once believed to be Earth's twin. For most of the 20th century, Venus was a mystery wrapped entirely in cloud. From a distance, it looked almost gentle, similar in size to Earth, similar in mass, similar in the rock that makes it up. For a while, some scientists genuinely wondered if it might be a warmer, wetter version of home. A jungle planet, perhaps. A second Earth, just a little closer to the sun. They were catastrophically wrong. The surface of Venus sits at approximately 465 degrees Celsius. Not at midday, not at the equator. Everywhere, constantly, day and night, pole to pole, because the atmosphere traps heat so completely that there is effectively no difference between day and night temperature at all. That number is hot enough to melt lead, zinc, and tin outright. The pressure at the surface is 92 times what we experience on Earth. To put that in a way that actually means something, it is roughly equivalent to the pressure you would feel 900 meters underwater. Every spacecraft ever sent to land on Venus has been built more like a submarine than a lander. Between 1970 and 1985, the Soviet Union achieved something no one has repeated since: a series of landers, the Venera program, that actually touched down on the Venusian surface and transmitted data back. Built from titanium, designed to withstand crushing pressure and extreme heat simultaneously, the most successful of them, Venera 13, survived on the surface for 127 minutes before its systems finally failed. That is still the record. 2 hours, roughly, is the total cumulative time humanity has ever spent operating equipment on the surface of Venus. And then there are the clouds. Thick, permanent, planet-covering clouds, but not water vapor. Concentrated sulfuric acid. High above the surface, this acid rain actually falls. But the heat rising from below evaporates it before it ever reaches the ground, in a phenomenon called virga, rain that falls forever and never lands. Here's the detail that still unsettles scientists who study this planet closely. In September 2020, an international team of astronomers announced the detection of phosphine gas in Venus's upper atmosphere, a gas that, on Earth, is produced almost exclusively by biological processes, either by microbes or by industrial activity. There is no industry on Venus. Follow-up studies have disputed the exact concentration. The debate is still ongoing in scientific journals. Right now, as you're hearing this, nobody has definitively explained where that phosphine came from, so hold that thought. Our closest planetary neighbor, hot enough to melt metal, crushing enough to destroy a submarine, raining acid that never lands, might also be hiding a chemical signature we cannot yet explain. And if that unexplained detail on a planet we can see with the naked eye unsettles you even slightly, wait until you hear what might be moving beneath the ice of a moon 628 million kilometers further out. From a distance, Europa doesn't look like much. A small, pale, cracked moon orbiting Jupiter, crisscrossed with reddish lines like a cracked eggshell. It's easy to glance past. It might be the single most important object in our entire solar system, 25 kilometers thick. Scientists believe there is a global ocean of liquid water. Not a lake, not a sea. An ocean wrapping the entire moon that current estimates suggest may hold more liquid water than every ocean on Earth combined. How does a moon this far from the sun, this cold on the surface, keep an entire ocean liquid underneath? The answer is tidal heating. As Europa orbits Jupiter, the immense gravity of the planet and the gravitational tug of the other large moons flexes Europa's interior constantly, like repeatedly bending a piece of metal. That flexing generates heat, enough heat, scientists believe, to keep an entire ocean from freezing solid for billions of years. Here's why that detail changes everything. On Earth, for decades, we assumed life needed sunlight, that without it, nothing could survive. Then, in 1977, scientists exploring the deep ocean floor near the Galapagos Islands discovered something that overturned that assumption entirely. Entire ecosystems thriving around hydrothermal vents in complete darkness, thousands of meters down, powered not by sunlight, but by chemical energy rising from the Earth's interior. Europa may have the exact same conditions: a rocky seafloor, volcanic or hydrothermal activity driven by that same tidal flexing, and an ocean sealed away from sunlight that has potentially existed undisturbed for billions of years. Which means Europa isn't just one candidate for life beyond Earth among many. A significant number of planetary scientists consider it the single best candidate in our entire solar system, with some ranking its odds ahead of Mars. NASA's Europa Clipper mission launched in October 2024 and is currently en route, with its closest flybys expected later this decade. It won't land, it won't drill through the ice. What it will do is map that ice shell in extraordinary detail, measure the ocean's chemistry through the cracks and plumes venting from the surface, and search carefully, patiently, for any chemical signature that shouldn't be there. We do not know what's under that ice. Nobody does. Not yet. That is, genuinely, the most unsettling and the most exciting sentence in this entire documentary. And Europa isn't the only moon in our solar system hiding an entire alien environment beneath its surface. One world over, orbiting Saturn instead of Jupiter, there's a moon with something even stranger, not hidden underground, but sitting right there on the surface, in plain sight. Titan is Saturn's largest moon, larger, in fact, than the planet Mercury. Wrapped in a thick, hazy orange atmosphere composed mostly of nitrogen laced with methane and ethane, so dense that its surface pressure is actually greater than Earth's. Underneath that atmosphere is something that, at first glance, looks remarkably familiar. Clouds form. Rain falls from them. Rivers carve winding valleys into the surface. Lakes and vast seas pool at the poles, some larger than the Great Lakes of North America. It is, structurally, almost a mirror of Earth's water cycle, except nothing in that cycle is water. The rain is liquid methane and ethane, the same substances that make up natural gas here on Earth, falling from the sky at a surface temperature of minus 179 degrees Celsius. The rivers are rivers of liquid natural gas. The lakes are lakes of it. In January 2005, the European Space Agency's Huygens probe achieved something that has never been repeated. it descended through Titan's thick atmosphere and became the only spacecraft in human history to successfully land on a moon in the outer solar system. As it touched down, its instruments recorded a surface that scientists later described as resembling wet sand or clay, not dry but damp, soaked through with liquid hydrocarbons, exactly as if it had recently rained. Here is where the science becomes genuinely strange. A number of researchers have proposed something almost impossible to fully picture: that Titan could theoretically host a form of life built on entirely different chemistry than anything that has ever existed on Earth. A form of life that doesn't use water as its solvent at all, but liquid methane instead, adapted to function at nearly 200 degrees below zero. If anything like that were ever confirmed, it wouldn't simply be the discovery of alien life. It would be the discovery of a second, completely independent origin of life, operating on biochemical rules we have never observed in action anywhere in the history of science. In 2011, astronomers using NASA's Kepler Space Telescope and observations from ground-based telescopes confirmed something almost paradoxical: a planet that reflects almost no light at all. The planet is called TRES-2b, and it orbits a star roughly 750 light-years away. It's a gas giant, similar in size to Jupiter, but researchers found that it reflects less than 1% of the light that reaches it, making it darker than coal, darker than black acrylic paint, darker than almost any naturally occurring surface ever measured. For a planet to reflect that little light, something has to be actively absorbing nearly all of it. The leading explanation involves light-absorbing chemical compounds in the planet's atmosphere, possibly including vaporized sodium and potassium, combined with the planet's own faint internal heat glow. Because TRES-2b orbits so close to its star that its surface temperature is estimated at over 1,000 degrees Celsius. Picture that combination for a moment: a planet the size of Jupiter, roasting at over 1,000 degrees. And yet, to any observer, appearing almost entirely black, a void silhouetted against its own star, absorbing nearly every photon that touches it. It is, by every measurement we currently have, the darkest planet human beings have ever found. If this journey did what it was meant to do, if it made you feel something you can't fully put into words, that is the entire reason this channel exists. Next episode, we're going somewhere even stranger, to the only planet ever confirmed where it rains glass sideways at 4,500 miles per hour. Subscribe if you want to be there when we do.